it's really interesting to see sort of how resilient the capital markets are today, because I think people are waiting for the next few months to see how things play out with China and our other trade partners. But as a whole, our sector is very well positioned because, again, with no new supply coming out of the ground, we're at a point where the existing retail shopping center is very healthy from a supply and demand backdrop.
With me today is Conor Flynn, CEO of Kimco Realty. Conor, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So Conor, what are you anticipating with respect to consumer sentiment and tenant demand within the retail sector in the short to medium term?
Obviously, there's a lot of noise right now with the tariff war going on, and consumer sentiment is shifting by the day, by the hour, it feels like. But the resiliency is there. When we look at the traffic counts to our shopping centers, it's up 4% year to date. So people are obviously still gravitating towards the shopping center and the retailers that are providing the everyday goods and services that they really want and they need. What we're going to see, we'll stay tuned. I think what you're probably going to see is the shoppers that we cater towards is really the grocery anchored shopping center. And then the goods and services that surround that are more essential. So think about like wellness, health, medical. You've got all sorts of different uses that I think play into what people need, not necessarily the aspirational shopper of like going to buy a very high-end item. And so I think we're well positioned to sort of get through this noisy period where we deliver what the consumer is looking for. And then on the leasing demand side, we just came out of ICSC. Attendance was up year over year. Retailers are very much still optimistic about the long-term growth profile of their fleets. So we're doing a lot of leasing. Occupancy is at all-time highs, no new supply. So there is pricing power for landlords because really with nothing new coming out of the ground, when we do get a space back, we have multiple tenants bidding for it. So it's a nice point in the cycle for us to be able to push rents and to be able to push occupancies to all-time high.
And what are you seeing in terms of geographic shifts in demand or investment focus within your sector? And what's driving those changes?
Yeah, so this year was interesting. You've seen like a big privatization of a public REIT, ROIC, which was a West Coast grocery anchored shopping center. That was privatized by Blackstone for a very aggressive cap rate. And so you're seeing the private capital continue to form for our sector. And you're seeing a lot of that occur on the one-off assets as well in terms of the bidding tents and the pricing that's going on in the market. You'll have to see as things progress. I think it really is tied back to the growth profile of the asset. And really what we're seeing is last year was a strong growth year. This year looks to be a strong growth year. And so we'll continue to monitor the situation because capital markets can change quickly. And as we know, our trade policies can change quickly as well. Debt capital markets are wide open. It's really interesting to see sort of how resilient the capital markets are today because I think people are waiting for the next few months to see how things play out with China and our other trade partners. But as a whole, our sector is very well positioned because, again, with no new supply coming out of the ground, we're at a point where the existing retail shopping center is very healthy from a supply and demand backdrop.
And can you talk a little bit about the role that technology is playing in either enhancing operations or disrupting traditional patterns in the marketplace?
Yeah, technology is a huge category, so we can take bits and pieces of it. So from an operational standpoint, we're becoming much more efficient with all the operational tools and technology that's coming out. So from a operating standpoint, I think Salesforce has created a great platform for us to continue to grow and utilize for all sorts of content and all sorts of data mining. When you look at sort of the new technologies out there, the prop tech to make buildings more efficient, whether it's the lighting, whether it's the use of water, there's all sorts of things out there that whether it's power from solar or from other types of opportunities, technology is going to continue to reinvent the game. And I think with generative AI and all the things going on with ChatGPT right now, there's a lot of opportunity there. We're already utilizing it in a number of our sectors. What we try and do is look at it from a discipline perspective and say, how can you use this to make yourself more efficient and really focus on the output? How can you do more? And so depending on what you want to talk about, which vertical, whether it's legal, whether it's marketing, whether it's leasing, there's use cases for it today. And what we're trying to do is be a leader in that, using it, testing it, trying to experiment with it so that when we get to a point where we feel very confident, we can launch it nationwide and take advantage of that scale opportunity.